Hey kid, looking for Flappy Bird? I got a copy for you right here.
If you missed it and you're looking to get your hands on Flappy Bird, that link really works. You want to try the hottest game, maybe of all time? You can, as long as A, you're an Android user, B, you click the link from an Android device, and C, you've enabled installing apps from sources other than the App Store. So truth be told, you can also use the link to get Flappy Bird running on an Android device by clicking the link from a computer, downloading the APK file, transferring it to your phone or tablet, and then opening that APK manually. But as a game, Flappy Bird isn't worth the effort. And hey, you're an iPhone or iPad person and you want to try Flappy Bird? It's even harder. Move on. Please consider Flappy Bird dead. Or let's talk about influencing, marketing, software patents, business change, and the place where Flappy Bird intersects with all of them. I've written about games here only a few times. The point isn't to do reviews. And while I came down hard on Epic Mickey because Disney clearly didn't understand the point of gaming, while I told you that the Nintendo 2DS could spell the end for Nintendo in their entire DS line of gaming systems, and while I questioned the value equation for consumers in Humble Bundle, the thing I'm always looking for in pursuit of influency opportunities is different thinking. I love this college course, for example, and I believe video games present a great chance for modeling and creating business change. Flappy Bird, trifle of a game though it was, represents both business change and influencing. Flappy Bird was an amazing catch lightning in a bottle business story, small and simple enough that its creator cobbled it together in a couple of days, and unchallenging enough from a development standpoint that a plethora of clones popped up in even less time than that. Flappy Bird sat around for about 6 months doing nothing, and then almost overnight was downloaded over 10 million times. Then, flush with the windfall of $50,000 in daily advertising revenue, Flappy Bird's developer pulled it. The removal of Flappy Bird from both the Google Play Store and the iTunes Store seems not to be a marketing scheme, and Flappy Bird developer Dong Nguyen claims that there were no legal issues involved. He'd simply had enough. Now, of course, he made a bunch of money and he's in a place with a very low cost of living, so that choice was easier for Dong Nguyen than it would have been for most people. Let's give Dong the benefit of the doubt on his motives. He seems sincere. Let's also talk about some of the ancillary issues that Dong said weren't involved in his decision to kill Flappy Bird. Mr. Nguyen created a game that, speaking of Nintendo, borrows in a really obvious way from some of their older games. And yet, Nintendo was making no attempt to stop Flappy Bird. Is this because Nintendo has become a company of really nice people? Is it because they saw no easy way to sue an individual living in Vietnam? Well, maybe. But more likely, we're seeing an evolution in the way software patents are approached and defended. I've long said that most software patents are a bad idea. There was nothing remotely unique about Facebook's newsfeed patent 7669123. Billionaires abuse software patents, and, well, all software shouldn't be free, but pretending that a box or a pipe is somehow unique is ridiculous. The legacy of Flappy Bird will have nothing to do with the game itself, and Dong Nguyen's claim that he pulled Flappy Bird from the market because it was changing his life for the worse won't be something too many of us remember for very long. But, if only indirectly, the Flappy Bird story could have a big impact on the way intellectual property is handled moving forward, and that will be its legacy and its influencing. Again, you can download the Android version of Flappy Bird right here, and if you want to talk influencing and thinking differently, I'd love it if you reached out. I'm the Answer Guy, and I'll be back.